The President of the United States appeared in public today and demonstrated clearly that he lacks the mental sharpness and emotional stability required to carry out his constitutional responsibilities. There is no effective reasoning process or sound decision-making capacity evident in the current occupant of the office. And this is the same individual who holds the authority over nuclear weapons, codes that could end life on Earth as we know it. Right now, Donald Trump is extremely angry. Federal Judge Mary Ann Keller has just directed the immediate release of a large volume of evidence that Trump's legal team worked hard for years to keep confidential. This goes far beyond ordinary paperwork. We're talking about recordings of private discussions that reveal Trump's actual statements, detailed financial documents tracing where funds moved, and internal messages that reportedly include unlawful instructions he issued to those working under him. All of this material is now entering the public domain. What makes this even more severe is that the judge did not simply issue a routine written decision that could be quietly appealed. Instead, she delivered her full ruling verbally in open court, with cameras rolling. She carefully laid out the reasons why each of Trump's claims for secrecy fell short. She stated plainly that the American people have a legitimate right to access these materials. She dismissed concerns that ongoing probes would be compromised. She rejected notions of undue harm or bias. And she mandated full and immediate disclosure. No postponements allowed. Trump's attorneys were forced to sit through it all, hearing the judge systematically dismantle every point they had raised. This represents a devastating setback in the courtroom, one that lays bare the complete collapse of Trump's long-term effort to shield this information. Now the material he tried so hard to bury is part of the official record, under review by law enforcement officials and prosecutors searching for evidence of wrongdoing. Trump understands the potential consequences. This could unravel him legally. People across Washington recognize the gravity of the situation. If you're interested in following developments closely and getting solid analysis, consider subscribing. Your support helps us deliver straightforward reporting and meaningful insight through this channel. Let's examine what took place in more detail. The order for release includes a broad range of items Trump battled to protect over an extended period. Records of confidential conversations with his closest advisors, financial ledgers documenting transactions he preferred to keep out of sight, and various internal exchanges such as messages, notes, and directives now available for everyone to see. Judge Keller determined that the public's need for openness far outweighed any claim Trump had to confidentiality. Trump has responded with intense frustration, sharing heated messages on his platform, labeling the decision a partisan attack and targeting the judge directly. But this is not an unfair pursuit. This is a federal judge upholding basic standards of accountability, reviewing Trump's positions on secrecy, concluding they lacked merit, and requiring disclosure because citizens deserve visibility into the actions of those in power. The judge examined the material Trump sought to conceal and affirmed that the public has every right to review it. Pass this along to others, because whenever Trump criticizes the judge for insisting on openness, it only strengthens the impression that he is protecting something harmful. His reactions create a feedback loop. The more he pushes back, the guiltier he appears, and the faster the legal process moves forward. Here are the key elements that made this ruling particularly crushing and difficult for Trump to overcome. By announcing her decision verbally in the courtroom, Judge Keller ensured it would be heard live and recorded for broad coverage. She could have simply filed a written order, allowing Trump's team to review it privately and prepare appeals right away. But she opted for a public delivery, turning the moment into a widely reported event that left no ambiguity about why Trump's secrecy claims were rejected. Consider the implication. When a judge feels compelled to voice a rejection so forcefully and openly for everyone to hear, it signals total defeat. The loss became impossible to downplay or spin privately. It broadcast a clear warning across the legal world that Trump's strategies for concealment are no longer viable. Courts are now placing greater emphasis on public access. The broader good outweighs any personal interest in suppression. When one federal judge openly turns down these arguments, it gives confidence to others to follow suit. We're already seeing that trend emerge in various proceedings, judges consistently denying requests to seal records and favoring release, because they recognize the same flaws Judge Keller identified. These positions serve only to shield Trump from scrutiny, not to advance any valid legal goal. Look at the serious matters these newly released documents reportedly tie together. They form a troubling web that worsens the overall situation for him. First, there are indications of improper instructions. Messages allegedly reveal Trump directing others to engage in actions that break the law, not mere policy differences, but potential coordinated wrongdoing if confirmed. Second, links to January 6th. Materials reportedly cover attempts to handle the aftermath of the Capitol events, what Trump understood at the time, steps he took, and efforts by his team to obscure his involvement. Third, issues with finances. Records allegedly document transfers and payments that cross legal lines, with funds moving in questionable directions, signs of possible corruption or personal gain. Fourth, possible interference with justice. Exchanges reportedly show discussions about concealing information, aligning accounts, and misleading those investigating. Taken as a whole, this material suggests a pattern: repeated violations of law, misuse of authority for private advantage, followed by attempts to erase the trail. The judge's insistence on immediate release leaves Trump with virtually no window for response planning. In some cases, courts phase in disclosures slowly, allowing time for challenges and staged rollouts over extended periods. Here, Judge Keller required everything to go public without delay. No last-minute stays, no appeals to sympathetic venues, no opportunity to frame the story first. The full collection hit the public sphere at once. This marks an unprecedented moment. A sitting president watching years of protected material flood out simultaneously. Nothing quite like it has occurred in our nation's past. The verbal delivery in court creates an enduring historical account. The judge's explanation, captured on video, detailing the weaknesses in Trump's case, becomes fixed in the record, shaping how this chapter of the presidency will be viewed long-term. It also sets a benchmark for parallel matters. Future judges can reference this decision when similar secrecy requests arise, reinforcing that such tactics are unlikely to succeed. Now, focusing on the specific content being released and its serious implications for Trump, both in court and beyond. The discussion transcripts capture Trump's unguarded remarks in settings where he believed they would stay private. Those closed-door sessions are where real intentions surface and genuine plans form. These records reportedly clash with his on-the-record positions, indicating awareness that certain steps were improper and raising questions about potential violations. You cannot later deny statements when clear documentation exists. History cannot be revised once your own language is preserved. The financial details provide hard proof of fund movements, independent of any narrative Trump or his representatives might offer. They allegedly show transfers that contravene statutes involving possible laundering, improper influence, or self-enrichment. Words can be reframed, but ledgers showing money in prohibited directions are far harder to dispute. Internal messages reflect choices as they unfolded: awareness levels, command chains, objections about legality. They reportedly established that Trump authorized questionable conduct and recognized its risks. That points to deliberate wrongdoing captured in his team's written exchanges. If the alleged directives hold up, they illustrate Trump instructing others to violate rules, each instance potentially a standalone offense. Those who followed through could become key witnesses for the prosecution. The sheer number of such examples escalates the exposure dramatically. This constitutes straightforward proof of misconduct, not speculation or indirect clues, but Trump's reported commands to break the law. The January 6th related items stand out as especially problematic. Reports suggest these show Trump was aware of the unfolding events, recognized breakdowns in protection, failed to intervene promptly, and later worked to minimize his responsibility. That combination raises issues of neglect of duty alongside efforts to obstruct accountability, multiple serious violations tied to one episode. Related communications reportedly detail coordinated efforts, shaping public accounts, considering evidence disposal, deciding what to share with authorities. Such steps, if documented contemporaneously, signal awareness of wrongdoing and active interference. These disclosures carry weight across Trump's remaining legal battles. The material becomes available for use in federal charges, private actions, and legislative inquiries. One release amplifies difficulties on every front. Prosecutors in different districts gain fresh leads they lacked previously. Financial trails may bolster cases in places like New York. Messages could support obstruction claims federally or inform January 6 reviews. The transcripts pin Trump to specific statements he must address if questioned under oath. Any mismatch risks additional charges like false statements. Financial trails invite prolonged scrutiny. Start with one irregular entry, trace the flow, uncover patterns of broader impropriety. One item often uncovers many more. The messages demonstrate understanding and purpose, discussions of risks, continuation, regardless. Precisely the elements needed to establish guilt. Reports indicate some administration figures are examining the released items and voicing worries about what they reveal regarding conduct and suitability for office. When inner circle members raise such doubts, it underscores the material's impact. Trump's heated backlash follows a straightforward political logic. These records undermine his explanations, clash with public claims, and supply grounds for multiple accusations. He recognizes that thorough examination could lead to grave consequences, prosecutions advancing, congressional scrutiny intensifying, adversaries exploiting the findings. His strategy? Discredit the judge, question the procedure, frame the release as biased overreach. This allows him to tell supporters the content is tainted and irrelevant. While not especially convincing, the documents exist regardless. It continues anyway. Public attacks on the judiciary only heighten tensions, potentially generating further issues around interference or pressure on officials. We're witnessing that escalation, intense criticism directed broadly, compounding the challenges. These developments signal the most substantial revelation of evidence Trump has faced. Material he resisted disclosing for years is now openly available. Not isolated fragments, but a wide array of discussions, finances, and directives. Such comprehensive exposure generates immense strain, influencing charging decisions, judicial evaluations, public views, witness cooperation, and more. Trump may label it a targeted campaign, but the facts remain. A federal judge deemed his secrecy justifications inadequate and prioritized public access. In summary, Trump is deeply upset. Judge Keller directed the prompt release of extensive evidence, including conversation records, financial details, and internal exchanges, reportedly indicating improper orders, items he long sought to suppress. Rather than a discrete filing, she stated her complete reasoning aloud in open session on record, dismantling each confidentiality claim, affirming the public's entitlement to know, dismissing interference or prejudice concerns, and requiring instant disclosure with no holds. His legal team endured the public takedown of their positions, a major loss revealing the futility of his concealment approach. The evidence now stands as official material, subject to close examination by authorities. Trump has reacted with strong denunciations on his platform, branding it an unjust campaign and criticizing the judge personally. Yet this reflects standard application of openness rules. Arguments reviewed, found wanting, disclosure ordered, because citizens deserve transparency. Each criticism only highlights what he may be protecting, fueling greater scrutiny in real time. This remains an ongoing situation. Stay connected for updates.